Video part.
I do.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you all for coming today. I'm going to talk to you about how to PowerPoint. Before I get into my speech, I would like to make the very important announcement that these are my opinions. Okay? This is not how you must do PowerPoints from now on. This is just how I think what you can do to put together a good presentation, something that's effective, something that your viewers will like to watch while you're talking. My opinions, not rule. Okay? First of all, when you're giving PowerPoint presentations, make sure to keep your eyes up. This goes for any presentation. You do want to keep the good eye contact with your audience. It forms a connection. And if you are using notes, which notes are completely fine, make sure that you're using notes that are bulleted, maybe just one or two phrases to remind you what to say on each slide. And one thing I do is I make sure that my notes are written big. Like for instance, I write really big so I can just glance at it and I don't have to, where is it at? And actually look down at my notes really good. Also, remember that they are slides, they are not teleprompters. Make sure that you don't read off of your slides because that can seem monotonous. And if you actually turn and look at your slides to read off of them, that breaks your connection with the audience. We do have the laptop, and that's a good thing to kind of glance down and see which slide you're on, or you could do a quick glance backwards to make sure you're on the right slide. But definitely try not to read directly off of your slides. Text less. You want to keep the wording on your PowerPoints very simple, very precise. Maybe just use a couple catchphrases, maybe just one or two words to emphasize what you're saying. You don't want to use a big paragraph or a lot of words because your audience will have a tendency to read your slide instead of listening to you. Like, how many of you read that?
I read the bottom half.
Yeah. It tells you stop reading. So avoid those big paragraphs because your audience will have a tendency to read that and not listen to you anymore. When you're doing PowerPoints, check your text size. Check your text size and your text fonts. You want to try to avoid the real curly-Q fonts that are harder to read. You want it to be very simple to read, and you want to make sure that you use fonts that are large enough for people in the back of a room to see. Yelling is rude. You don't want to yell in your speech or on your slide. For example, put that down. It just says put that down, right? But if you look at this, that's yelling. That's put that down, right? Because it's all capital letters. Capital letters for an entire word or sentence is seen as yelling. It's the same thing in email. If you do it on your slide, you're yelling at your audience even if you're not doing it with your voice. So try not to yell. I love pictures. I love PowerPoints that have pictures in them. I do ask that you take some time to find a nice, clear picture. When you use a blurry picture, sometimes that might be just a little distracting. People might be like, what is that really supposed to be? Because if they can't see it that well. But make sure you get those good high-quality images. When I search for images, I usually type HD behind whatever I'm looking for, like horse HD. So it'll be high definition. Using PowerPoints, definitely take a look at the themes. Theme it up. If you put a theme in your PowerPoint presentation, that gives you a bit of cohesiveness. And you don't have to use the themes that they make. You can kind of make a theme of your own. Mine is the font that I chose, the color I chose, the size of the text that I chose. That's my theme, right? When using colors, make sure to use contrasting colors. If you're using a white background, use nice dark colors for your text. If you're using a dark background, use really lighter colored colors for any text that you put on there. Speaking of colors, let's talk just a little bit about color theory to wrap us up. How many of you know that colors can influence your emotions? Yes, definitely. So you have to keep that in mind when you're giving speeches, because whatever colors you put up behind you are going to influence your audience. Now, before we go any further, oh, hey, there's red. The reason I mention that is one thing that you need to keep in mind is where you're going to be presenting. And used to be, the Ohio did not show red. So I was going to say, know where you're presenting, know what room you're going to be in. If I know I'm going to be in Ohio, I don't use a lot of red. But red's showing up today. Ohio is really the only one I know of that really has that problem. Most of the other rooms we go to show all colors just fine. So know where you're presenting. Now going back to our color theory and talking about red, red is a very angry color. It's aggressive, it can agitate your audience. This is a color you want to try to avoid or use as little as possible in your slides, just because it's going to get your audience wound up for no good reason. Okay? Orange is a great color to use if you're trying to excite your audience, get them pumped up. Like on 9/11, a bunch of firefighters went and climbed 110 flights of stairs, like, woohoo, let's go do it. You would use orange. I know, I see you shaking your head no. You would use orange to get people excited about that. Orange is an exciting color. Green is the color of growth. This can be in the plant world or in your personal life. Green is a wonderful color to use for a motivational or inspirational speech. It feels just very growing and very healthy, and it just really gets people inspired. Blue is the color of peace. It's very calm, it's very neutral, and this is actually the color you will see most often in PowerPoint themes because it is a good color to choose. Because it's not going to excite your audience, not going to get them wound up, and it's very just kind of even keeled. On that note, I would like to remind you all that these are my opinions only, and nothing is forever except change. So even my opinions about PowerPoints probably will change. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.